In the distant future, the world had long since crumbled. The skies were dark and empty, save for the occasional drifting asteroid or stray satellite. The once vibrant cities lay in ruin, their towering buildings reduced to rubble and ash. The last vestiges of human civilization were scattered across the wasteland, struggling to survive in small, insular communities. But there was one place where hope still burned brightly: the secret underground library known as the Archive. Ilara, the last librarian, had taken upon herself the sacred duty of guarding and preserving humanity's last trove of knowledge. For decades, she had toiled tirelessly, restoring damaged books, cataloging new discoveries, and protecting the archive from those who would seek to destroy it. The world above was a dangerous place, filled with marauders and scavengers, but here, beneath the earth, Ilara felt safe. She had found solace in the enduring wisdom of the ancients, and in the knowledge that she was not alone in her vigil. One day, as Ilara sat in the library's central atrium, reading by the soft glow of a flickering lamp, she heard a faint humming sound from outside. Curious, she ventured to the entrance and peered through the narrow slit in the steel door. Her heart skipped a beat as she saw a group of strange creatures approaching from the distance. They were unlike anything she had ever seen before. Tall, imposing figures clad in shimmering silver armor, their faces obscured by elaborate masks. As they drew nearer, she could hear them speaking in a language she didn't recognize. Ilara knew that she had to defend the archive with her life, but she also knew that she was no warrior. She decided to open a channel on her communication device, hoping to establish contact with the aliens and try to reach some sort of understanding. As she spoke, her voice trembled slightly, but her words were clear and steady. "This is Ilara, the last librarian. I am the guardian of the archive. Who are you, and what do you want?" There was a brief pause before the lead alien replied. Its voice was deep and metallic, and Ilara could sense an air of authority in its tone. "I am called Zathor, representative of the Elysian Council. We have traveled across the stars to find you. We possess the technology to rebuild your world and restore it to its former glory. In exchange, we ask for the knowledge contained within your archive." Ilara hesitated. She knew that the archive was humanity's last hope, but she also knew that the world outside was dying. She could sense the desperation in Zathor's voice. After a long silence, she finally replied, "I will need proof of your intentions before I consider your offer. But I must warn you, the knowledge within the archive is not to be taken lightly. It has the power to create as well as destroy." Zathor nodded. "Very well, Ilara. I understand your caution. We will provide you with all the proof you require. In the meantime, we ask that you allow us to survey the archive and begin preparations for its transfer." As the aliens and Ilara spoke, a strange energy began to emanate from the archive itself. It was as if the ancient books were communicating with one another, sharing their knowledge across the vast network of shelves and aisles. Ilara could feel it building inside her, a thrumming sensation that made her heart race and her mind spin. She knew that something significant was happening, something that could change the course of history. As the energy peaked, a hidden panel in the wall slid open, revealing a small, glowing pedestal. Upon it lay a mysterious artifact, its surface etched with intricate runes and symbols. As Ilara reached out to touch it, she felt a surge of power coursing through her veins. She knew instinctively that this was the key to humanity's salvation, the key to unlocking the true potential of the archive. With renewed courage, she addressed Zathor. "I will require your assistance in understanding this artifact and its power. Together, we can ensure that the knowledge of the archive is used for the betterment of all life in the universe." The alien representative nodded gravely. "We accept your proposal, Ilara. Together, we shall forge a new future for both our peoples. Let us begin the process of restoring your world and sharing the wisdom of the archive with the stars." And so Ilara, the last librarian, became the first ambassador between humanity and the Elysian Council. Under her guidance, the archive was carefully shared with the aliens, and the knowledge within its walls was used to rebuild the world. In time, humanity and the Elysian Council forged a lasting peace, and together they explored the stars, seeking out new civilizations and sharing the wisdom of the ancients. It was a new age of enlightenment, made possible by the courage and foresight of one extraordinary librarian. Ilara, the last librarian, had spent years in solitude, dutifully guarding humanity's last trove of knowledge in a secret underground library. The world above was a desolate wasteland, devoid of life and hope. She had grown accustomed to the silence and the dust, but her routine was about to change. One fateful day, a fleet of alien ships appeared in the sky, their menacing presence heralding the end of her isolation. The aliens introduced themselves as the Kuskins, a highly advanced species from the far reaches of the galaxy. They claimed to have the technology to rebuild the world and restore it to its former glory, but their efforts had been hampered by a lack of knowledge. The Cookskins had been searching the universe for a civilization that could help them, and they had finally found it, in the form of Ilara and her precious library. At first, Ilara was wary of the aliens' intentions. She had sworn an oath to protect the library and its contents, and she was not about to let it fall into the hands of beings she knew nothing about. However, as the Cookskins' leader, Zixkinzarg, continued to plead their case, she began to see that they were not the monsters she had feared. There was something genuine about their desire to help, and she knew that the library could not survive much longer on its own. Reluctantly, Ilara agreed to a truce. The aliens would be allowed to live among them, but only under her watchful eye. In return, they would help protect the library from those who would seek to harm it. As they began to work together, Ilara noticed something strange about the aliens. Despite their outlandish appearance, they seemed to share many of humanity's traits and values. They were curious, inventive, and possessed a deep respect for knowledge. It was during one of her patrols that Ilara discovered a mysterious artifact hidden deep within the library's archives. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before, crafted from a material that defied explanation. As she examined it, she felt a strange, tingling sensation run through her body, as if the artifact was somehow communicating with her. She knew that this was no ordinary artifact. It held the key to humanity's lost heritage. Over the next few weeks, Ilara devoted all of her time to studying the artifact. She soon discovered that it belonged to an ancient race of humans who had once harnessed powerful technology to shape the universe itself. This civilization had been thought to be nothing more than a myth, but Ilara now knew that they were real, and their technology still existed within the library. She became obsessed with uncovering their secrets and reviving their legacy. Meanwhile, the aliens continued to help rebuild the world, using their advanced technology to restore order and create a new civilization. As they worked together, a bond began to form between them. The aliens, impressed by Ilara's determination and knowledge, looked to her as a leader, while she saw in them a chance to reclaim humanity's rightful place in the galaxy. As Ilara's studies progressed, she uncovered clues that led her to believe that the key to activating the ancient technology lay within the library itself. She began to fear that the aliens, despite their good intentions, might try to seize control of the technology for their own gain. Determined to prevent this from happening, she decided to keep her discoveries a secret, even from her alien allies. One night, as Ilara was working late in the library, she made a breakthrough. She activated the ancient technology, and a portal to another dimension opened before her eyes. Ilara hesitated for a moment, unsure of what she had just unleashed, but she knew that she could no longer put off her destiny. With a deep breath, she stepped through the portal, leaving the library and her old life behind her. On the other side, Ilara found herself in a world beyond her wildest dreams. The air was thick with the sound of industry and the hum of technology. The sky was filled with flying machines, and the ground was lined with towering cities. This was the world of the ancients, and it was her destiny to lead it into a new era. As she explored her new surroundings, she came across a group of survivors from the apocalypse who had been living in hiding. They looked upon her with awe and reverence, for they knew that she was the key to their salvation. Elara took them under her wing, and together they began to rebuild this new world, using the knowledge she had gained from the library to create a civilization that would stand the test of time. In the end, Elara's decision to sacrifice her old life in order to save humanity's future proved to be the right one. The aliens, impressed by her dedication and leadership, chose to join her in this new world, helping to forge a lasting peace between the two races. Together, they built a world that rivaled anything that had come before it, and Elara's name was revered as a legend, a symbol of hope and perseverance in the face of insurmountable odds. And so, the tale of Elara, the Last Librarian, comes to an end. Her story serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are those who will rise to the challenge, and that the greatest of civilizations can be built on the foundation of knowledge and understanding. May her memory live on forever, and may her spirit continue to guide us through the ages. The group had been traveling for days, following the faintest whispers of rumor and legend, their hearts heavy with hope and trepidation. The ruins of the once great city loomed before them, a testament to the power and majesty that had once been humanity. As they approached, the air grew thick with the sense of history and the weight of expectation. Elara, the Last Librarian, led the way, her keen eyes missing nothing as she scanned the overgrown streets and crumbling buildings. Her companions, a motley crew of survivors from various walks of life, followed closely behind, their feet shuffling through the detritus of a forgotten age. They were a group of unlikely heroes, bound together by their shared desire to reclaim what was lost and rebuild what had been destroyed. Finally, they reached their destination, a massive steel door set into the side of a hill. Elara stepped forward, her fingers tracing the patterns etched into the metal, her touch reverent and respectful. With a groan, the door began to slide open, revealing a dimly lit chamber beyond. Torches flickered on the walls, casting long shadows that danced and twisted in the flickering light. The group descended into the chamber, their steps slow and deliberate. The air was thick with the smell of age and must, and the sound of their footfalls echoed through the empty space. As they ventured deeper, they saw rows upon rows of metal shelves stacked with ancient, dusty boxes and crates. In the center of the chamber, a massive control console dominated the space, its banks of blinking lights and glowing displays a testament to the advanced technology that had been lost. For hours, they searched the chamber, combing through the contents of the shelves and opening the crates, each discovery bringing them closer to understanding the truth about humanity's past. At last, they found it. A small, ornate box, its surface carved with intricate designs and strange symbols. Elara's hands trembled as she lifted the box from the shelf, her heart racing with excitement and fear. As they carried the box back to the surface, the sky was beginning to lighten with the first hints of dawn. The air was cool and crisp, and the sounds of birdsong filled the air. They emerged from the ruins, blinking in the bright light, and made their way back to their camp. There, they gathered around a crackling fire, sharing stories and trading rumors about what they had found. It was then, as they were deep in conversation, that their comms device began to chirp. Elara's eyes widened as she saw the message flashing across the screen, an incoming transmission from the aliens. The group exchanged nervous glances before Elara accepted the call. The alien's image flickered into existence, its features twisted into a mocking smile. "Ah, Elara," it said, its voice smooth and oily. "We've been expecting you. We've heard about your discovery, and we must say we're rather impressed." It paused, tilting its head to the side. Or perhaps concerned? Elara's heart sank. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. The alien chuckled. "Oh, Elara, you misunderstand. We don't want anything from you. We simply wish to offer you a choice. You can either continue on your present path, facing the unknown consequences of your actions, or you can join us. We have the technology to rebuild this world, to make it better than it ever was, but we need your help. Together, we can create a new future for humanity, a future where the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The group exchanged worried glances. This was not what they had expected. They had thought the aliens were their enemies, but now it seemed they were being offered a chance at redemption. The choice was not as clear-cut as they had once thought. Elara took a deep breath before responding. "We will consider your offer," she said finally. "We need time to discuss this with our people." The alien nodded, its expression unreadable. "Very well," it said. "You have our leave to do so. We will await your decision." With that, the transmission ended, and the group was left to ponder the implications of what they had heard. As they sat around the fire, debating the alien's offer, a sense of hope began to stir within them. Perhaps there was a way to rebuild, to move past the destruction and loss that defined their world. Perhaps there was a future where humanity and the aliens could live together in peace and prosperity. But there was also fear and uncertainty, and the knowledge that the choice they made would shape the course of their species for generations to come. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the ruins of the city, the group knew they had to make a decision. They could not delay any longer. The fate of humanity rested in their hands. The last librarian looked at her companions, each of them weary from their journey, but determined to see it through. "We must decide," she said finally. "Do we trust the aliens and risk joining them in hopes of a better future, or do we continue on our own, unaided, and face the unknown consequences of our actions?" The others looked at her, their expressions grave. They knew the weight of the choice they had to make, but they also knew that no matter what they decided, they would stand by each other, and together they would face whatever the future held. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, they made their decision. They would trust the aliens, and they would join them in their quest to rebuild humanity's world. They knew it was a risk, but they believed it was a risk worth taking. They were, after all, the last librarians of humanity. It was their duty to preserve knowledge and to seek out new understanding. And so, with hope in their hearts and determination in their spirits, they made contact with the aliens and began a new chapter in the history of both their species. As the dust settles from their discovery of the alien technology, Elara and her companions stand before a large circular chamber. At its center lies an ancient-looking device, its surface adorned with intricate symbols and glowing with a soft blue light. The room hums with energy, the air thick with the scent of ozone. A moment later, the device's surface flickers, and a holographic image of the alien's leader appears before them. "Greetings, Elara," he says, his voice smooth and eerily translucent. "We have been observing your progress. You have proven yourselves worthy of our attention." Elara hesitates, unsure how to respond. "We merely seek to understand our past," she says finally, "to learn from our mistakes and rebuild our world." The alien leader nods thoughtfully. "Indeed, your dedication to knowledge is commendable. However, it has also made you a target. Not all of my people share my views. Some believe that humanity should be eliminated, that your technology and knowledge pose a threat to the balance of power in the universe." Elara's heart sinks. She knew there would be complications, but this is worse than she imagined. "What would you suggest?" she asks cautiously. The alien leader pauses, his image floating in the air before them. "I propose an alliance. Together, we could pool our resources and knowledge. We could help you rebuild your world, and in exchange, you could share your knowledge with us. We could learn from each other and work towards a brighter future for all life in the universe." Elara considers his words. It's a tempting offer, but she knows better than to trust the aliens blindly. She decides to take a cautious approach. "Before we make any decisions, I would like to learn more about your people, to see your intentions for myself." The alien leader nods graciously. "Very well. My flagship is currently in orbit around your planet. You are welcome to visit and see for yourself. We will provide transportation." The crew exchanges glances, weighing the risks and rewards of such a trip. After some discussion, they agree that it's worth the gamble. They suit up in their environment suits and prepare to leave the bunker. As they exit the underground base and step out into the harsh sunlight, Elara can't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the vastness of the universe. The alien's ship looms overhead, a massive, gleaming cylinder suspended in the sky. It dwarfs the nearby buildings, casting long shadows across the landscape. Their arrival on the ship is a surreal experience. The crew is led through a series of sterile corridors and opulent chambers, their every need tended to by attentive alien servants. They meet a variety of aliens from different species, each with their own unique physiology and culture. Some are humanoid, others reptilian or insect-like. Elara feels a strange mixture of curiosity and trepidation as she interacts with these beings. Eventually, they are brought to meet the alien leader himself. He sits upon a throne-like chair in the center of a grand audience chamber, surrounded by his most trusted advisors. He rises to greet them, his body language indicating a mixture of respect and curiosity. After exchanging formal greetings, Elara takes the opportunity to ask about the artifact they found back on Earth. The alien leader's expression turns serious. "That artifact is of great importance to both our species," he says solemnly. "It was created by an ancient race of beings known as the Guardians. They were responsible for shaping the universe as we know it. Their technology was far beyond anything either of our species has yet discovered." He pauses, taking a deep breath before continuing. "We have long sought to understand the Guardians and their technology. Your discovery of the artifact has renewed our interest in learning more about them. However, we must also be careful. There are those among us who would seek to use their power for their own gain." Elara nods thoughtfully. "I understand. We feel the same way about our own history and knowledge. It is a heavy responsibility." The alien leader studies her face for a moment, his expression unreadable. Then, with a nod, he says, "I believe that we can find common ground. Let us work together to ensure that the knowledge of the Guardians is used for the betterment of all life in the universe." With those words, the two leaders shake hands, sealing an alliance that will shape the course of history for both their species and the countless others they will encounter in the vast expanse of the cosmos. In the aftermath of their discoveries, Elara and her companions find themselves in a race against time. They must decode the artifact's secrets and forge a lasting alliance with the aliens who have offered to help rebuild Earth, all while navigating the treacherous landscape of their post-apocalyptic world. The ruined city outside the bunker serves as a constant reminder of the devastation that humanity has wrought, and the threat of rogue aliens seeking to exploit their weakness looms large. As they begin the delicate process of translating the artifact, Elara's group establishes a base of operations within the bunker. They set up makeshift living quarters, workspaces, and even a rudimentary lab to analyze the alien technology. The bunker's dim, flickering emergency lights cast eerie shadows across their faces as they hunch over ancient tomes and glowing computer screens, piecing together the fragments of humanity's lost history. The aliens, for their part, remain a mystery. Some seem genuinely interested in helping Earth rebuild, while others appear to have more sinister intentions. Their communications are cryptic and often at odds with one another, making it difficult for Elara and her companions to know who they can trust. They establish a protocol for dealing with the aliens, careful to maintain a balance of power and information. Outside the bunker, the survivors of the apocalypse continue to struggle for survival. Scattered pockets of civilization have begun to emerge, each with their own unique challenges and threats. Some have formed small, tight-knit communities, while others have devolved into violent, warring factions. Elara's group must navigate these factions carefully, forging alliances when possible and avoiding confrontation when necessary. As they delve deeper into the artifact's secrets, they discover that humanity's lost heritage extends far beyond the bounds of Earth. The ancient race that once wielded the power to shape the universe left behind a trail of mysterious relics and artifacts scattered across the stars. Elara becomes obsessed with the idea of following in their footsteps, of rediscovering the lost technologies and regaining humanity's place among the cosmos. Meanwhile, Tensions between Alara's group and the aliens continue to rise. The cryptic messages they receive suggest that there is a power struggle within the alien civilization, with different factions vying for control over Earth and its resources. The stakes have never been higher, and Alara finds herself walking a dangerous tightrope between the aliens and the other survivors, desperately trying to keep the peace while also pushing for the discovery of her people's true destiny. As the days turn into weeks, progress on the artifact is slow but steady. They uncover the secrets of ancient stargates, of faster-than-light travel, and of the powerful forces that once shaped the universe. Ilara's vision of humanity's destiny grows brighter, but the path to its realization remains fraught with danger. With each new discovery, the threat of betrayal and exploitation looms larger, and the question of who they can truly trust becomes ever more urgent. In the end, it is the strength of Alara's bond with her companions and the aliens that sees them through. They must learn to trust one another, to work together, and to let go of their preconceived notions of who is friend and who is foe. Only then can they hope to survive the harsh realities of their post-apocalyptic world and forge a new path for humanity, one that leads to a future filled with hope, discovery, and the promise of redemption. The sun rises over a verdant landscape, painting the world in hues of emerald and gold. The air is crisp and clean, devoid of the pollution that once choked the world. A group of humans and aliens stand atop a hill, gazing out over their collective achievement. After months of hard work and sacrifice, Earth has been restored to a semblance of its former glory. Ilara, the Last Librarian, stands shoulder to shoulder with the alien leader, Zil-Torak. Behind them, the secret underground library glistens in the morning light, its doors now flung open to the world. "It is truly a marvel, Ilara," Zil-Torak says, his voice booming through their shared mental connection. "Your knowledge of the ancient ways has been invaluable in our efforts to heal this world." Ilara smiles modestly. "It has been an honor to work alongside you and your people, Zil-Torak. I only hope that our alliance continues to grow stronger." The alien leader returns her smile, his golden eyes glinting in the sunlight. "I have no doubt it will, Ilara. We have come too far and faced too much together for anything less." As they stand there, the sounds of construction and rebuilding echo through the valley below. The aliens have brought with them advanced technology that allows them to rebuild cities and repair the damage done to the planet's ecosystems in a fraction of the time it would take humans. Ilara, in turn, has shared her knowledge of the library's secrets, unlocking the potential of long-forgotten techniques and lost sciences. But not everyone is as eager to see the aliens as partners. Rival human factions still exist, some convinced that the aliens are only using them for their own gain, others fearful of losing control over the knowledge and power that the library holds. Tensions simmer just beneath the surface, waiting for the right spark to ignite them into open conflict. "We must remain vigilant," Ilara says, her voice low and somber. "There are those who would see us fail, who would rather see the world return to the darkness of the past." Zil-Torak nods gravely. "I am well aware of this, Ilara, but I believe that together we can overcome any obstacle. It is our shared destiny to see this world thrive once more." As they turn to leave the hilltop, they are met by a small group of humans and aliens who have come to discuss the latest development. News has spread of a new city they plan to rebuild, one that will serve as a beacon of hope for the future. Ilara feels a surge of pride in her chest as she listens to the plans being discussed, knowing that she has played a part in bringing about this moment. Yet, even as she basks in the glow of accomplishment, she can't help but feel a twinge of apprehension. The path ahead is fraught with danger, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. She takes a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenges to come, and resolves to do whatever it takes to ensure that humanity and the aliens can build a better tomorrow together. The sun continues to rise, bathing the world in its warm embrace. For now, at least, peace reigns. But Ilara knows that it is only a matter of time before the shadows begin to lengthen once more. When that day comes, she will be ready, and so will her allies, Together, they will face whatever the future holds and emerge stronger for it. As the rebuilding effort continues apace, Alara finds herself drawn deeper into the mysteries of the library and its forgotten history. One day, while exploring a long-forgotten corner of the vast subterranean complex, she stumbles upon a hidden chamber tucked away behind a secret panel. The chamber is lit by a faint, otherworldly glow, and its walls are adorned with intricate carvings and symbols that seem to defy understanding. In the center of the room rests an ancient artifact, its surface covered in runes and glowing with an eerie aura. Upon closer inspection, Alara realizes that this artifact is unlike anything else she has encountered in the library. Its power seems to emanate from within, as if it were a tiny sun trapped in a jeweled cage. She reaches out a trembling hand, hesitating for a moment before making contact with the cool, smooth surface. As her fingers brush against the runes etched into the artifact, she feels a surge of energy coursing through her body, making the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. It is then that she realizes the full extent of the artifact's power. It has the ability to shape reality itself. With a single thought, she could reverse the damage caused by the apocalypse, restore Earth to its former glory, and ensure humanity's place as the dominant species in the universe. The temptation is overwhelming, but Alara also knows that this power comes with great responsibility. The artifact was hidden away for a reason, and its creators clearly meant for it to remain lost and forgotten. If she were to use it, there would be no turning back. The decision weighs heavily upon her, and she spends the next several days locked away in the hidden chamber, lost in thought and meditation. Meanwhile, the aliens, sensing the presence of this newfound power, have grown increasingly anxious. Their scouts report that Alara has been spending an inordinate amount of time in the chamber, and they fear that she may be planning to use the artifact against them. The alien leader, a towering serpentine creature named Jirkal, convenes an emergency council to discuss their options. Some factions argue for caution and diplomacy, while others advocate for a preemptive strike against the humans. As Alara continues to grapple with her decision, she receives a visit from Jirkal. The alien leader apologizes for intruding on her solitude, but insists that the situation has become too dire to ignore. He implores her to share her knowledge of the artifact and to work together with the aliens to ensure its safekeeping. Alara listens carefully, weighing Jirkal's words against the oath she swore to protect the library and its secrets. Finally, Alara makes her decision. She agrees to work with the aliens, but on one condition: they must destroy the artifact together. Jirkal looks conflicted, but ultimately agrees to her terms. Together, they seal the chamber once more, hiding the artifact away from prying eyes and ensuring that its power will never again be used for evil. As they leave the chamber, Alara takes a final look back at the artifact, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what they have done. Their decision made, Alara and Jirkal return to their respective factions to share the news. While some are skeptical and fearful of the aliens' intentions, others begin to see the wisdom in their actions. The alliance between humans and aliens grows stronger, and together they continue the long, arduous task of rebuilding Earth. In the years that follow, they restore the planet's ecosystems, rebuild its cities, and forge a new future for both species. The memory of the artifact and its terrible power fades into legend, a cautionary tale about the responsibility that comes with holding the fate of the universe in one's hands. But Alara never forgets the weight of that responsibility, and she carries the knowledge of the artifact with her always, a reminder of the choices she made and the world she helped to create. In the aftermath of the aliens' surprise attack, Alara races towards the hidden chamber within the library. Her heart pounding, she pulls open the ancient door, revealing the gleaming artifact within. Its power pulses through her fingers as she grasps its handle, and with a deep breath, she activates it. The air shimmers around her as reality itself seems to warp. Meanwhile, the human settlement is under siege. The once thriving community is now a scene of chaos and destruction. Buildings crumble under the relentless assault of the alien forces, and survivors cower in makeshift shelters, hoping against hope for rescue. Amongst the panic and despair, a group of resilient survivors band together, refusing to surrender their home without a fight. As Alara's power surges through her, she feels a newfound connection to the universe around her. The world seems to slow down, granting her a clarity of thought that she has never experienced before. She realizes that she has been given a choice: to use her newfound abilities to assert humanity's dominance or to seek a peaceful coexistence with the aliens. With this decision weighing heavily on her heart, she turns her attention to the battle at hand. Drawing upon her newfound abilities, she summons a powerful energy field that repels the alien forces, buying the human survivors some precious time. The aliens are momentarily stunned by this display of power, but they soon recover and launch a counterattack. Amongst the chaos, Alara spots a group of aliens who appear to be different from the others. They communicate with each other in a language she has never heard before, but something about them feels familiar. Intrigued, she approaches them, using her newfound abilities to bridge the language barrier. The aliens introduce themselves as the Zelnari, a race of shapeshifters who have been living among humans for centuries, maintaining peace and stability. They reveal that they were not aware of the true intentions of their own kind until it was too late, and now they are willing to help Alara and the humans fight against the rogue faction of aliens who seek to enslave humanity. Alara is hesitant to trust the Zelnari, but their sincerity is undeniable. She agrees to work together with them, using her powers to turn the tide of the battle and buy both human and alien forces time to regroup and plan their next move. As they fight side by side, a fragile alliance begins to form between them. The battle rages on for hours, with neither side able to gain the upper hand. Eventually, the rogue aliens retreat, defeated but not defeated. They will return, Alara knows, and when they do, humanity and the Zelnari must be ready. In the aftermath of the battle, Alara and the Zelnari stand amidst the rubble of what was once a thriving human settlement. The air is thick with the smoke of burning debris and the stench of death. Alara turns to the Zelnari leader, a wise and ancient being who has proven herself trustworthy in the heat of battle. "What now?" she asks, her voice trembling with exhaustion and uncertainty. The Zelnari leader places a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Now," she says, "we rebuild. Together." With that, they begin the long and arduous task of repairing the damage that has been done. They work side by side, sharing knowledge and technology, forging a new alliance that promises to change the course of history for both humans and aliens alike. As the sun sets on this day of reckoning, Alara stands atop a hill overlooking the ruins of the settlement. She takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world upon her shoulders, but she is not alone. Beside her stands the Zelnari leader, and behind them, a community of survivors who have banded together against the odds. They are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and they are the future. The wind picks up, carrying with it the promise of a new tomorrow. Alara turns to the Zelnari leader and smiles, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "We can do this," she says, her voice strong and steady. "Together, we can make a new world." The Zelnari leader returns her smile, and together they face the future, ready to embrace the challenges that lie ahead.